Welcome back for part 2 of my queer analysis of Taylor Swift's Midnights. If you haven't seen part 1, then it doesn't really matter. You can go and watch that after this one. You can watch it before. I'll link it down below, whatever you want to do. Oh, there's a fly. I've got a new plant in my office, and ever since I got this new plant, there's just like little flies everywhere. Anybody know plants and know why there's little flies coming out of my plant? Let me know. Anyway, that's besides the point. This is a queer analysis of Taylor Swift's Midnights. I'm gonna try and get to 6 more songs in this video. When I had this idea to do this, I was gonna talk about all of the songs in a single video. Part 1 was only 5 songs and that was 51 minutes long. So we're gonna try and do 6 in this one, and hopefully it won't be 51 minutes, but it probably will be, knowing me. I like to talk. I've got to do some disclaimers before I get into this. Okay, so disclaimers. This is my queer analysis of Taylor Swift's Midnights. I am a queer woman. I identify as a lesbian, queer, gay, that kind of vibe. I am queer, and therefore every time I do anything, anytime I consume any media, I do so through a queer lens. Queer history is something that's really, really important to me. Being queer is a massive part of my identity. I know that some queer people are just queer and that's just like a small facet of who they are. For me, it's a huge part of who I am. It's a huge part of how I identify myself. And it's something I'm really proud of. It's taken a long time to get to a point that I am really proud of it. I love queer history. I love queer people. I love queer culture. Everything I do in my life is seen through this queer lens, and therefore whenever I listen to, say, an album from my favourite artist, Taylor Swift, I view it, I listen to it through that queer lens. I'm not making this video to say that Taylor Swift is 100% a queer woman herself. I know there are theories out there. I'm very well versed on the Taylor Swift theories, but that is not what this video is. So this analysis isn't so much being like, Taylor has written this meaning this, and Taylor has written this way because she is gay. None of us know what Taylor Swift's sexuality is. We can all ponder on it, we can all speculate on what Taylor's sexuality is. Until Taylor explicitly comes out and says, I am a bisexual woman, I am a straight woman, I am a gay woman, lesbian woman, whatever, we don't know. She hasn't said any of those things in recent years. And therefore, this is not a speculation on Taylor's sexuality. This is how I view her songs. This is what they mean to me. I did more of like a deeper disclaimer in my original video, my first video that I did in this. If you want to go watch that for a deeper explanation as to this, then please do. But I've got to say that because otherwise people get really mad, really, really mad. Any suggestion that Taylor Swift could be gay or queer in any way, people get really angry about it, which, you know, if you are, ask yourself why that is. Anyway, I wrote some notes. Let me get my notes up. Oh yeah, I wanted to say, and I meant to say this in my last video, but I just never did. I think a big part of Taylor's problem, I don't really think it's a problem, but Taylor Swift has become a victim of her own marketing scheme, her own marketing ploys. Taylor, her entire marketing thing is, I plant Easter eggs in everything I do. Everything that I say, everything I release, every music video, every song, every interview has a deeper meaning. I am hiding things in everything I do. Like, that is Taylor herself. And it is genius, absolute genius marketing, because it means that people like overanalyze everything that she does. And it means that people are like engaged and they are purchasing her things to see these deeper meanings. But I suppose she may have become a victim to that as well, because now everything Taylor releases, people are looking for those deeper meanings, and Taylor will be the first to say herself that she does not explicitly say what any of her music is about. She will not explicitly come out and be like, this song's about this person, this is about this scenario in my life. And that does mean that people make up what their songs, what her songs mean to them. Taylor's music is so universally loved because people attach their own meanings to her music, and I think that is so beautiful, so genius. And if Taylor didn't like people doing that, then this wouldn't be her marketing. I don't know what the word is. A lot of queer culture is about being a detective and reading between the lines. Like, as a queer person, if you want to connect with other queer people, whether that's like friendship or romantically, you have got to do detective work, and you've got to, it's gaydar, that's what gaydar is. You've got to be able to detect other queer people through things like queer flagging. Again, I went through all that in my original video. I'm probably just repeating myself now, and this intro is getting really long, but I love talking about queer culture, queer flagging. I find it really, really interesting. So let's start. Where shall we start? What song shall we begin with? Okay, we're going to ease ourselves in here by talking about a song that doesn't have loads of references, but we're going to begin with Midnight Rain. For me, Midnight Rain feels like leaving a very comfortable, straight relationship to explore who you are, to explore your sexuality, to just explore you as a person. And that's like the overarching theme that I get from this song. And I do also think it's about Taylor. She is leaving a comfortable relationship to explore fame as well. I think that is also a very accurate depiction of this song. She doesn't want to be a bride. I think it links a lot back to Lavender Haze. I analysed Lavender Haze in my first video again, so if you want to jump back to that, you can go and see my analysis there. So this song starts with, he wanted it comfortable, I wanted that pain. He wanted a bride, I was making my own name. Chasing that fame, he stayed the same. All of me changed like midnight. I do find myself wondering if this is potentially about a PR relationship. She's in this relationship she's kind of being like forced into. She's backed into a corner. Everyone wants her to like be presenting as being in this relationship, but she's like, no, I don't want that. I don't want to be comfortable. I want to be out there exploring. He wanted it comfortable, I wanted that pain. I kind of wonder if that's about like compet. Like this man was quite comfortable being in this very comfy relationship, but Taylor wanted to go out and explore that further. Could that exploration be about maybe wanting to explore gayness? Who knows? He wanted a bride, I was making my own name. This kind of matches with the entire theme of Midnights, I find. Midnights is very much about being like trapped, being isolated, being caged, not being able to be your true self. It's very like isolating. It's Taylor saying like, I am trapped in this gilded cage and I can't be who I truly want to be. And that very much could be being trapped by fame, which I imagine is very isolating. But that also is very similar to how a lot of queer people feel. They can't be their true selves. They've got to pretend, they've got to put on this face to sort of the public. My town was a wasteland, full of cages, full of fences. Again, exactly what I was saying a second ago. Taylor is trapped, caged, fenced in. Then we go on to pageant queens and big pretenders. Pageant queens, drag queens is kind of what I see from that. Pageant queens and big pretenders, but for some it was paradise. So Taylor's like pretending here, but some people in this relationship think this is paradise. This is exactly what they want. For Taylor, this is not. She feels like she's pretending. She is trapped. My boy was a montage. Did I write about this in my notes? Yeah, so Taylor is obviously using like male pronouns throughout this. My boy was a montage is referring to maybe like all of her relationships as one, like all of her male relationships are like a single montage in her head. They're all the same, they're all just one. A slow motion love potion, jumping off things in the ocean. I broke his heart because he was nice. This really made me laugh because when I was like pretending to be straight, bisexual, I was bisexual. I was never, compet got me bad. I broke his heart because he was nice. And this was like something I would always say because like I'd like go on dates or like boys would be really, really nice to me and I hated it. Like I really, really hated it. I really hated like the nice guys, and it was like a running joke in my friendship groups that I would only ever go for like the arseholes, the dicks. The more horrible they were, the more I was attracted to them. But that wasn't the case. It was just like a self-protection thing, I think. Like, I would never end up in a relationship with somebody who was an arsehole. They were never going to want to be in a relationship with me. And so if somebody was nice to me, I was like, oh, no, not interested. That's not what I want. And that's kind of what I get from that. On to the second verse. It came like a postcard, picture perfect, shiny family, holiday, peppermint candy. But for him, it's every day. So I peered through a window, a deep portal, time travel, all the love we unravel, and the life I gave away. Again, I don't, like I said, there's not loads for me to say about this song, so I think it's very much about Taylor not wanting that suburban life, and she's in a relationship with somebody who really wants that, or she's having that pushed upon her in this like PR relationship. And again, this is like very much pushing that picture perfect, shiny family, holiday peppermint candy, but for him it's every day. But she's like looking out, she's like, this is the other life I want to lead and I'm going to live it. All the love we unravel and the life I gave away. So she has given away this like potential life of like suburban bliss for fame or for this other thing that she potentially wants. Could that other thing be gayness? Who knows? I feel like I shouldn't have started with Midnight Rain because, like I said, I'm sort of scraping the barrel with this one. But tell you what, to make up for it, we are going to do question next. Let's do question. Okay, let's move on to question. Should have started with this. That was mean that I didn't. I'm sorry. We're going to talk about it now. It's hard to talk about this song without talking about Taylor herself and referencing Gaylor law. Really hard, but I'm going to try and do it. So this song, if you know Gaylor law, you know what this song's about, but I promised I wasn't gonna like reference Taylor herself in this video, so I'm not gonna do it. But for me, this song is very much like an asking for a friend sort of vibe. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just like hypothetically like asking for a friend. I have this question for you. How did I describe this? Wait a sec. So this might be the gayest song that Taylor has ever released. Maybe up there with like Maroon. Question and Maroon were so gay. Like as soon as I heard Question in particular, I was like, how can people not see this? How are people still blind to this? It is insane to me. And I very much see Question as Taylor is asking the new partner of her ex these questions. So she's talking to the new partner of her ex. Okay, bear that in mind. Taylor just loves to use feminine pronouns wherever possible in her music, and just like, oh, it's just from the male perspective. I'm not singing about a woman from my perspective, I'm singing about a woman from a man's perspective. Because that is something that makes a lot of sense, clearly. So her pronouns are just scattered throughout this. As a queer person, whether or not it is from the male perspective or not, this is a woman singing about she, her. And therefore, to me, I can hear that as a queer song. And this song actually really harks back to sort of the 1989 era. As soon as I heard this song, I was like, it's so 1989, which is my favourite Taylor album, favourite album of all time. And the opening notes, I don't know, musical terminology, very much sounds like Out of the Woods from 1989. I don't really know what the relevance is there, because I don't think Question and Out of the Woods are about the same person, but maybe they are, I might be wrong. So the opening lines here, we have good girl, sad boy, big city, wrong choices, we had one thing going on. So immediately, good girl, sad boy. I think a lot of people think this is like about Taylor in a relationship herself. So she's the good girl with a sad boy. I don't see it like that. I see sad boy as the person she is talking to in this song, and good girl is potentially the ex. Like I said, I may well be wrong. This is just how I see it. Big city, wrong choices. So big city refers to New York City. We know that Taylor lived in New York all throughout the 1989 period, and obviously the opening of this song is very reminiscent of Out of the Woods. We had one thing going on. I swear that it was something, because I don't remember who was before you. I swear that it was something is, again, very gay to me. There's a whole thing with lesbian relationships, or like growing up as a queer woman, as a queer teenager. You have these like weird, like homoerotic friendships with other women, and you don't really know what they are. They're just like really intense, strange friendships. Like you're not 100% aware that the feelings you have for this other person are like feelings, like romantic feelings, but it's definitely a different friendship than normal friendships, and you know that. So Taylor saying like, I swear that it was something, like I've got so many friendships growing up, like some very intense friendships from like 18 to like 22, 23, that I'm like, I swear that was something. Like, am I going mad? But I'm sure that it was. Because I don't remember who was before you. Painted all my nights, a colour I've searched for since. That is like an intense relationship. Like, this is the kind of relationship that ended, and ever since then Taylor's been like, I haven't felt the same way since then. Like, I am looking for that same feeling, which of course isn't just relevant to queerness. That could be any relationship. That's like a very intense feeling. But one thing after another, fucking situations, circumstances, miscommunications, and I have to say, by the way, I just may like some explanation. So here she's asking for an explanation as to what went on in this relationship. Can I ask you a question? Did you ever have someone kiss you in a crowded room and every single one of your friends was making fun of you, but 15 seconds later they were clapping too? Then what did you do? So I have to wonder here, did you ever have someone kiss you in a crowded room and every single one of your friends was making fun of you? Like, in adult relationships, how often do you like make out with somebody of the opposite sex and people actually like pay attention and like make fun of you for it? Like, maybe they'll like make a joke about it, but like make fun of you for like kissing somebody of the opposite sex. Like, it's not like maybe teenagers, but as like adult relationships, that's not really something that's done. But if it's like a same-sex thing, if nobody is really aware of this like same-sex attraction and you suddenly making out with somebody, that would probably raise some eyebrows. And to me, that is like, it just screams queerness. And then everyone realises what's going on, and then they're clapping for you because they're happy. Allies, yay. My filming just got interrupted by the doorbell, but I've got to show you this because this is very Taylor Swift coded. I just got a delivery. My Mirable planters. How beautiful are these? Oh my god, this is so exciting. Like, I think I'm going to put them in the bedroom and hang them from the ceiling. Oh my god, so Taylor Swift coded. I love these. But anyway, let's go back to question. I've forgotten where I was. But this relationship just feels like very high stakes. This feels like somebody that she's like kissed in a crowded room and it's like high stakes. A lot is like depending on this kind of thing. Did you leave her house in the middle of the night? Do you wish you'd put up more of a fight? When she said it was too much, do you wish you could still touch her? It's just a question. So again, Taylor is asking the new partner of her ex. Rhubarb. Rhubarb loves to scratch on her post only when I'm filming. That is the only time, just when I'm filming. What was I saying? Oh my god, I've had a Red Bull this morning and I haven't actually eaten anything, so I drank the Red Bull and then felt so sick. So I'm very like hyped up on caffeine. I thought I'm gonna eat after I finish filming this, but I don't feel too good. So this is somebody's house that Taylor is sneaking out of in the middle of the night. It's somebody who's like, this relationship is too much for me. That is quite common in queer relationships, particularly if somebody is maybe not out or like really struggling with their sexuality. It just becomes too much and they end things, even if it's wonderful. Do you wish you could still touch her? I just love the use of feminine pronouns. Half moon eyes, bad surprise, did you realise out of time she was on your mind with some dickhead guy? So Taylor's saying like, do you feel the same way that I do? Like, when she was out with other men, were you like pissed off about that? Like, did that bother you? She was out with like dickhead guys and like you knew you could treat her better? That's like probably, maybe that's like the realisation that shit, there's more feelings here because I'm thinking of her being out with like guys and I am not happy about it. I'm jealous, like help me. It was one drink after another, fucking politics and gender roles, and you're not sure and I don't know. So here Taylor is discussing with somebody politics and gender roles and this other person's not sure about what's going on. Taylor doesn't know what's going on. Talking about politics and gender roles is something that's really prevalent, I know personally, in my relationship anyway. Being in a women-loving women relationship, you've really got to like analyse these things and what are your like roles within this relationship? What relevance do gender roles have in life? And I think when you are in a same-sex relationship, you really do start to question these things, because you're not taught growing up like how to function in a same gender household. Like everything is so gendered all the time, and you come to realize that is just bullshit, and it's something that you do discuss a lot. So fucking politics and gender roles, and you're not sure and I don't know. Politics, no, I was about to say something about Gala, I'm not going to, and we're going to move on. Got swept away in the grey, I just may like to have a conversation. So the grey here, I see sort of like queerness. Everyone sees queerness like rainbows and colourful and bright, and it's like a celebration. And the antithesis of that is grey, dull. So here I see like got swept away in the grey. So this other person got swept away in straightness. She's not in the rainbows, not in like the queerness. She got swept away in the grey. I saw some people saying that the grey here refers to like being swept away in the gay, like grey gay. I don't think that. I think grey refers to straightness, somebody getting swept away in straightness. I just may like to have a conversation. Then we're back onto the chorus. Does it feel like everything's just second best after that meteor strike? So whatever relationship this is that Taylor's referring to, it was like a meteor strike. It was like the best thing ever. It hit her out of nowhere, and nothing's ever quite lived up to that. I'm just gonna say, if I was Joe Alwyn and like my girlfriend is writing music like this about this like one relationship that nobody's ever going to match up to, I'd be a bit like, like I know you can't really be jealous because this is like Taylor Swift's whole thing, but it would give me self-doubt. Oh, and I forgot to say, going back to the second verse, and you're not sure and I don't know, I wrote here, that's about questioning sexuality. Like, you're not sure what your sexuality is, I don't know what mine is, but we're just like, we're flowing, we're going with the flow. Anyway, back to, and that's what I heard, that you're still with her. That's nice. I'm sure that's what's suitable and right. To me, this is like the most damning line in this whole song. That's what's suitable and right. She is now in a relationship with you, a man. That's what's suitable. That's what's right. That's what everyone tells me. Like, this is the right thing to do. But I don't like it. Like, it's very much screaming like compulsive heterosexuality to me. Like, that's what's suitable. That's right. Sure, that's always how it's going to end up. It's actually really interesting. I've just written in my notes, I forgot about this. In the lyric video, when it says the line, do you wish you could still touch her? And we're talking about the official lyric video on Taylor Swift's YouTube page. It's, do you wish you could still touch ... her? Like, it's really emphasised, which I find really interesting. It's like really pointing out that Taylor here is talking about a her. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like I said, my entire brain is just like caffeine right now. There's nothing else, just caffeine. Like I said, it's actually quite hard to talk about this song without referencing like actual Gala law. But I think it's undeniable here, with the use of the she, her pronouns, Taylor's not talking about herself. She's not asking an ex about herself. She is asking somebody about another woman. I think that's incredibly clear here. And no matter how you sort of like talk around that, she is asking somebody about a woman, and she's clearly having these feelings for a woman. Oh, also, major point, and I can't believe I just nearly forgot. Question, literally the title of this song, question, LGBTQ+. The Q can either mean queer or questioning. And I find it very interesting. This whole song is about questioning this relationship. Q, question. Okay, kids, we're going to move on to Anti-Hero, and I've written 2 whole pages of notes for this song, so strap yourselves in, I have a lot to say. So I've written in my notes here, and I'm going to read directly from this so I don't want to miss anything. So this song sums up the Midnights album as a whole. This is like the lead single. This is Taylor being like, this is what my album is about. It's about her not being a role model. She's not perfect. She's like, don't put me on a pedestal. It's self-hatred. It's self-reflection. She struggles with fame, she feels very sort of like undeserving of it, and she's trapped in this cage. As I keep saying, she feels very, very, very isolated. And like I pointed out before, isolation is a key part of being queer, sadly. There's actually this quite famous interview within like queer communities, within like the Taylor Swift community, by this country singer, this female country singer called Shelley Wright. And Shelley Wright, if I'm correct, is a lesbian herself. I'm just going to fact check that, 2 seconds. So according to her Wikipedia page, she describes herself as gay, so I assume she is a lesbian. She's an American activist, author and country music artist. And she later became known for her role in LGBT activism after publicly coming out. Shelley Wright, when she came out as gay, it was a huge blow to her career. She was a country music artist, the same as how Taylor started out. And although she has gone on to be quite successful now, it was a huge blow to her career when she came out publicly as being gay. A lot of country music has very close ties with Christianity and religion as a whole. And a few years ago, Shelley Wright did an interview where she spoke about how there's a lot of queer people in Hollywood who are purposefully hiding their sexualities. A lot of big musicians in Hollywood who are hiding their sexualities. These huge A-list Hollywood stars, musicians, actors that she knows are gay, but they are purposely hiding that because of the big machine of Hollywood. It's too dangerous to come out. It will destroy their careers. That's not the image that Hollywood wants to portray. She talks about how the queer community needs their hero in Hollywood. She needs a big country music artist to stand up and say, I am gay, this is who I am, and I'm going to take a stand. And a lot of people have made connections to all sorts of big country music music musicians and other actors in Hollywood who they think she might be talking about. We don't know for sure who she's talking about. Can you hear my cat screaming? Crumble, come upstairs. Hi, darling, are you screaming? I can't play with you right now because I'm filming, but I'll play with you once we're done, okay? Yeah? Anyway, Shelley Wright makes this very famous within the queer community speech about Hollywood needing their hero to stand up and say, I'm queer. And then Taylor Swift comes out with a song called Anti-Hero, which obviously people did make that connection. I have this thing where I get older but just never wiser. Midnights become my afternoons. When my depression works the graveyard shift, all of the people I've ghosted stand there in the room. That I sort of see that as just being about like mental health. I should not be left alone to my own devices. They come with prices and vices. I end up in crisis. Tale as old as time. So this is Taylor basically to me saying like, yeah, when I'm left to my own devices, I kind of cause crises. I get in trouble. I say stupid things. There is a long history of Taylor, especially in her Tumblr era, getting drunk and saying things that she probably shouldn't have said. So this to me screams like PR crisis. When she's left to her own devices, she does stupid things and her PR team get mad at her for doing so. The tale as old as time just screams to me that she's done this before. This is kind of like what she's known as. She gets in trouble all the time for doing stuff like this. Oh, also, I forgot to say at the beginning, I meant to say this along with the Shelley Wright stuff, that there's actually a Tegan and Sarah album called I'm Not Your Hero. Did I say album? I meant song. There's a Tegan and Sarah song called I'm Not Your Hero, which is about coming out. They are both openly gay women. And Taylor has openly said before that the album that song is on is one of her favourite albums of all time. I can't remember what the album's called. Heart something? Wait. Heartthrob. So Taylor has said that the Heartthrob album is one of her favourite albums of all time, and I'm Not Your Hero is kind of like, it's not a direct call and response to Anti-Hero, but they definitely have very similar themes throughout them. I wake up screaming from dreaming. One day I'll watch as you're leaving because you got tired of my scheming for the last time. So Taylor has nightmares about sort of the situation that she's found herself in. One day I'll watch as you're leaving because you got tired of my scheming. This could very easily be about a relationship, obviously, somebody getting tired of Taylor scheming in her relationship, which is basically what the entirety of Mastermind on this same album is about. But I see it as it could also be referencing her fans, her audience as well. One day her audience will get tired of her because she's scheming, because of all the Easter eggs, because of this like marketing of hers. She can't be her true self, so she's just like dropping hints, dropping hairpins, you may say, and she's worried that people get sick of her doing so. It's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me. At tea time, everybody agrees. I love the use of tea time in this song. Tea time, tea, that kind of thing is something that Taylor refers to actually quite often in her songs. Obviously not every song, but like quite a few times throughout her discography she has referred to like tea or tea time. And this is something that's really interesting to me just as a queer history nerd. So tea time makes me think of something called tea dances. Queer tea dances was something that happened in New York City throughout like the 50s and 60s. In New York City in this time, it was illegal to serve an openly gay person alcohol. The authorities, higher ups, thought that if you served gay people alcohol, they would become promiscuous and they would start doing gay things all over the place. So it became illegal to give gay people alcohol. And it was also illegal to have gay clubs. So like openly gay people couldn't go into a regular straight club and be served alcohol. So a lot of the time they'd have to like stay under the radar, which they'd have to do anyway really for their safety. But they also couldn't have their own clubs because they would get raided by police constantly. That was like the entire basis of Stonewall, which was the birth of the gay rights movement. So in defiance of this, gay people across New York would host what they called tea dances or tea parties, in which they would gather in open spaces and they wouldn't drink alcohol, they would just drink tea. And this was like openly in defiance of these laws. Because the police couldn't really do anything about it. They weren't breaking any laws, they were in public, they were drinking tea, unless they were like very openly gay, which they could be arrested for, like they were wearing like feminine clothing or making out with a man or like being promiscuous, as so the law said. Then the police could do something, but generally just a group of people dancing in the streets, drinking tea, couldn't really do anything about that. So queer tea parties, queer tea dances very much became a thing, an act of defiance. And Taylor quite often references like tea. It also makes me think of the You Need to Calm Down music video. You Need to Calm Down is obviously about like coming out, being gay, like you can't, why hate on people for being gay, why hate on people for being different. The entirety of that music video, Taylor is the only straight person in that music video. Every single other person in that is gay. And there's one scene in there where Taylor is having a tea party with the Queer Eye guys. And of course that could be just seen as a reference to like tea, like gossip. But it very much could also be a reference to this small part of queer history. I actually think, don't quote me on this, I think the whole like spilling tea thing might actually come from the queer tea parties. I'm gonna research that later because I'm a massive nerd and I want to know, but I don't have time right now. I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. To me, this sort of screams that Taylor is very happy to like self-destruct, cause harm, to do harmful things to herself, but she won't look in the mirror. She won't like self-reflect on what she's doing. It's easier for her to just ignore her like true reflection and just stare at the sun instead to hurt yourself. Like she struggles with self-reflection. She's very ashamed of who she is. It must be exhausting always rooting for the anti-hero. So Taylor very much sees herself as the anti-hero in not just her own story, but everyone else's story as well. I wrote here that she doesn't see herself as a role model. She doesn't want to be put on a pedestal whilst dealing with her own demons. She doesn't owe anyone anything, and she doesn't owe anyone anything. She puts out this beautiful music into the world, and that's all she wants to do. She doesn't want to be that role model. She sees herself as the anti-hero. Sometimes I feel like everybody is a sexy baby and I'm a monster on the hill. There's a lot of analysis I could do of the sexy baby line, but I don't think it's necessarily queer. I think this kind of well, it's a 30 Rock reference, isn't it? But it's sort of referencing how Hollywood wants everyone to look young and sexy, and like that's the peak of Hollywood. And Taylor's now aging. She's like 33, I think she is. So she feels like Hollywood is just getting younger and she's sort of aging out of it, and she feels like the monster on the hill. Too big to hang out, slowly lurching towards your favourite city, pierced through the heart but never killed. Did I write something about pierced through the heart? I did. Pierced through the heart but never killed, just heartbreak over and over again. This next line is probably some of my favourite Taylor Swift lyrics ever. Did you hear my covert narcissism disguised as altruism like some kind of congressman? The way that I interpret this is Taylor is doing things that benefit herself through the sort of guise of charity. So people think she's doing these amazing charitable things for like everyone, but really she's doing them for herself. So I disguise my altruism, which is essentially charity. Could this be her pretending to be an ally? Could this be her like pretending to be an ally? She's being altruistic. She's like pretending to support the LGBT community when really she is a part of it. Covert narcissism. So like covert is like hidden, narcissist is like I am gay myself, I'm a hidden gay, but I'm pretending to be an ally through like my altruism. Like some kind of congressman. So she's referring to herself as like a politician. Everything she does is very thought through, very planned. Maybe not by herself, but potentially by her PR teams. It's actually really interesting because when you Google covert narcissism, you'll see a lot of references to covert narcissists being queer, being gay, which I just thought was fascinating. So I literally just Googled covert narcissist and it popped up time and time again. A tale as old as time. So again, Taylor saying like, this is something that happens all the time. It's a tale as old as time. Also, I think I'm going to do a whole separate series of like analysing the music videos from this era, because the music videos have got a whole other layer of analysis to them. But I do want to mention, so in the music video, there's a bit where Taylor is bleeding glitter. It is lavender glitter, not blue. It's baffling because in like the behind the scenes video of the Anti-Hero music video, Taylor's like, oh yeah, I'm bleeding this blue glitter. But anyone can see that this glitter is not blue. It is clearly purple. And people have analysed this so much. Like, did Taylor just like make a mistake in that moment? Or is she like really pointing out? Is she being like, no, I'm saying it's blue, but it's actually lavender. Which again, lavender haze, in my first video I analysed the whole like lavender thing, so if you want to get that reference, go back and watch that. But misidentifying this really draws more attention to it. Like if Taylor had just said, oh yeah, it's purple glitter, I don't think people would have analysed it anywhere near as deeply as they have. But because she said, oh, it's blue when it's very clearly purple, it's fascinating, and I wonder if there's more to that. Because if she just said, oh, it's purple glitter, I think people would be like, oh, that's a Speak Now Easter egg. Like purple is the colour of Speak Now. But the fact that she said it's blue glitter is baffling. But anyway, she is bleeding purple glitter, lavender glitter in this music video, and she covers it up with a political pin. So could that be code for like, oh, I'm bleeding lavender gayness and I'm covering it up with politics? Then we've got this really, I love this last verse. I have this dream my daughter-in-law kills me for the money. She thinks I left them in the will. The family gathers round and reads it, and then someone screams out, she's laughing up at us from hell. Again, there's a lot of religious iconography in this album. She makes a lot of references to like biblical things. She makes a lot of references to hell and the devil and things like that. And this is just another example of that. She sees herself as going to hell. Oh, also I forgot to say, I'm sorry, my notes for this are all over the place, so this is all over the place. With the covert narcissism disguised as altruism, this actually calls back to Sweet Nothing, which I don't actually think I'm analysing in this video, but maybe in the next one. In Sweet Nothing, she says she's too soft for advocacy. She's too soft to like really stand up and be like, this is who I really am. And I feel that, because I feel like I'm too soft for stuff like that as well sometimes. Like I'm so scared of the backlash of doing things like that, especially because I do have a public platform as well. Obviously nowhere near as big as Taylor's. I can't even imagine being on that platform. But it is scary coming out and like standing up for something, which I found really interesting. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. This could be a very tenuous link, but Taylor's lead single from the Love album was Me, which a lot of people were very angry at. I quite like Me as a song. Like, it's not one of her best songs of all time, but like, it's a bop. I see why she chose that as the lead single. Me was released on Lesbian Visibility Day. Oh, and apparently I've got another thing as well, referring back to the politics. I should not have had that Red Bull before I started filming this. Taylor quite famously doesn't, or like at least didn't used to speak out politically. And in her documentary on Netflix, Miss Americana, there's this whole scene where she is like trying to convince her dad that speaking out politically is the correct thing to do. And she gets quite emotional about it in that scene. And I think it's a constant battle with Taylor and her team as to how much she can speak out politically. Again, she started as a country music star. A huge part of her fan base are still those fans, those southern white Christian fans. And she does have a lot to lose if she were to come out, not even just gay, but when she came out as like a liberal, when she came out in opposition to Donald Trump, she lost a lot of fans. And imagine how many she would lose if she came out as gay. Like, we like to think that homophobia isn't all that prevalent, but believe me when I say it really, really is. Maybe it's not the blatant in your face being beaten up in the streets kind of homophobia everywhere anymore, but homophobia is so much more insidious than that. Again, this is probably quite tenuous, but there are a couple of like potential references here to Alice in Wonderland, which again harks back to the 1989 era with the song Wonderland, which, fun fact, is my favourite Taylor Swift song ever. Wonderland is very much about Alice in Wonderland through the looking glass. So here we've got Tea Time, we've got Mirror. That sort of links back to that. Again, like I said, it's quite tenuous, but that is what I thought, and this is my analysis, so we're going with it. Next, let's go on to the second single from the Midnights album, and that was, of course, Bejeweled. Bejeweled is a song very much about pretending. It's about covering your problems with jewels and shimmers. It's about finding confidence in your insecurity, no matter what kind of insecurity that is. Baby love, I think I've been a little too kind. Didn't notice you walking all over my peace of mind in the shoes I gave you as a present. That very much screams to me a transactional relationship. In the shoes I gave you as a present. It might help if I actually clicked on the pen. In the shoes I gave you as a present. So to me, that doesn't scream a sort of loving relationship. That screams to me it's very transactional. Putting someone first only works when you're in their top 5. And by the way, I'm going out tonight. So this first verse is somebody taking the piss, walking all over Taylor, and it's her like standing up and being like, no, I'm standing up for myself. I'm going out tonight. This actually really reminds me, I literally last night finished watching the second of episodes of Daisy Jones and the Six. If you don't want spoilies for Daisy Jones and the Six, just skip forward the next like 30 seconds. But it made me think of how Billy is out there being not very well behaved with Daisy Jones, and Camila is like, no, I'm going out tonight. So she just goes out to a bar on her own and leaves Billy at home, like worrying about her and wondering where she is. And it very much gives me that vibe. Putting someone first only works when you're in the top 5. And by the way, I'm going out tonight, I already said that. Best believe I'm still bejeweled when I walk in the room. I can still make the whole place shimmer. So this, obviously, this whole song has a lot of references to like shimmering and bejeweled and glitter. And this actually probably harks back to my analysis of Antihero as well. But glitter has a whole meaning within the LGBT community. Like glitter and gayness, they're like intertwined in a way that like glitter and straightness isn't. It's very intimately tied to queer nightlife, to makeup, to burlesque, cabaret, dancing, all these things you associate with queerness. Which is also very interesting because who features in the music video for this song? None other than the burlesque queen, Dita Von Teese, obviously. Glitter is this integral part of queer presentation. It is very much a way of queer flagging. Maybe less so now than it used to be. I mean, you go to a music festival now or any sort of concert now, everyone is covered in glitter head to toe, whether they're gay or not. But for many, many years, like a man wearing glitter was very indicative of like, oh, he could be gay, and I suppose not quite the same with lesbians, but it was definitely a flagging signal. Glitter is very gendered, it's very feminine, so it means that when a man wears it, that means something. And it's defiant and it's impossible to miss. When somebody's wearing glitter, you notice they're wearing glitter. And as long as modern glitter has been around, I think modern glitter was invented in like the 1930s, it has been inherently gay. It has been used by the queer community. And I don't say this to say that it can't be used by the straight community, like obviously that's not the case, but it's always been inherently intertwined with gayness. I mean, think of like glitter activism. I'm sure there was something a few years ago, maybe just before COVID, where activists showered Mike Pence or like his house or something to do with Mike Pence in glitter in sort of like protest of his anti-LGBTQ policies. Like glitter activism is a thing, and that's not the first time that's happened. It won't be the last time that's happened. Gay people throwing glitter on straight politicians in protest of their policies. And when I meet the band, they ask, do you have a man? I could still say, I don't remember. And this line, I don't remember, has been the subject of a lot of discussion in the queer community, because depending on whether or not you put punctuation in this line, it could have totally different meanings. And I'm sure there's a word for that in like literature. If somebody knows it, then please let me know. It could either be Taylor saying like, I don't remember, or I don't remember. Like a lot of people read into this as like bearding or being closeted, like I don't remember. Or Taylor literally is in quite a public relationship with Joe Alwyn. She has been for 6 years. So it's interesting, somebody's asking her, do you have a man? And she's like, I don't remember, or I don't remember. Familiarity breeds contempt. Don't put me in the basement when I want the penthouse of your heart. Again, don't put me in the basement screams like isolation, being trapped. This is like, don't hide me away. Diamonds in my eyes, I polish up real nice. Again, references to like glitter, diamonds, bejeweled, that kind of thing. Diamonds, polish. Baby boy, I think I've been too good of a girl. Did all the extra credit, then got graded on a curve. I very much see that as like a call out of patriarchy. Like Taylor as a woman is doing all the work, and then she's being compared against men, and she's sort of like losing out because of that. She's putting in a lot of effort for nothing. Also the reference to baby boy, I think this is a callback. Did I write this in my notes? I didn't write it anywhere, so I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is a callback to Paper Rings, in which she's like very happy in like the new sort of months of a relationship, and it's all very like honeymoon phase, and it very much calls back to that. I think it's time to teach some lessons. I made you my world, have you heard? I can reclaim the land, and I miss you, but I miss sparkling. I can reclaim the land screams to me like coming out, a celebration of who you are. Where did I write this in my notes? It's reclaiming your image, it's reclaiming your identity. And you can still miss somebody, but you can also miss who you were before you were with them. So she misses whoever this song's about, but she misses sparkling. She misses being sort of the centre of attention and living her life to the fullest. The camera ran out, it's been an hour, I've had some lunch, I'm back, I'm feeling a little bit more calm now I've actually eaten something, but I still don't feel great, I'm not gonna lie to you. But anyway, we were talking about Bejeweled, and I was about to point out the best line in this entire song, the best word in this entire song, which is simply nice. And it's not to do with the context of the song itself, it's very much to do with the music video, because Taylor just so happens to say nice as she walks into a room where Dita Von Teese is there looking sexy as hell, and it is just such a sapphic moment. I love it. Then in the next verse we have sapphire tears on my face, again another reference just like jewels, glitter, like being jeweled, as the whole theme of the song is. Sadness became my whole sky, but some guy said my aura's moonstone just 'cause he was high. And we're dancing all night and you can try to change my mind, but you might have to wait in line. What's a girl gotta do? A diamond's gotta shine. So dancing all night, you can try to change my mind, but you might have to wait in line. change her mind about what? Change her mind about being a single woman, change her mind about the relationship she's in. She's very in demand. You might have to wait in line for her because she's got a lot of people lining up for her. Or you're going to have to wait in line because she's got stuff she wants to do for herself. Also, I missed something earlier in the song when we're talking about the "I made you my world, have you heard?" lines. This is really interesting because depending on what lyric site you look on, some of the lyric sites say "I made you my world, her, have you heard her?" And actually, I'm out of curiosity. Wait a sec. I'm going to crack into my Midnight CD, which I actually haven't even opened yet, and see what the official lyrics in that say. Wait a sec. That sucks. Oh well. I bought it to support Taylor because, you know, billionaire Taylor really needs my help. And I actually haven't opened it yet because who actually listens to CDs? Not me. Okay, wait a sec. No, so she doesn't have the "her" in "I made you my world, have you heard?" That's interesting. I just sort of like, when I listen to the song, I hear the "her," and then some of the lyric websites actually write down the "her," and it's like she's questioning it, which is really interesting. Like, "I made you my world, have you heard?" But it's like she's like questioning, like, that's just what I've heard on the grapevine, heard in the media, like, "I made you my world, her, have you heard her?" I don't know, maybe that's a bit too deep of an analysis, but then again, that's what this whole video is, so... Oh, I'm so upset this CD's broken. That's really sad. It's like missing like a whole like hinge thing here. Oh well. Taylor, honestly. I really do want to do a full analysis of the music video alone because I've got so much to say about that music video. Like, it's literally Laura Dern, like gay icon Laura Dern playing the stepmummy, not stepmother, stepmummy, for God's sake. Oh, that's another delivery. My second delivery of the day was just a rotary washing line for the garden, which is much less interesting than my amazing mirror ball. Okay, next up, let's talk about a song called Hits Different. Now, Hits Different it's not available on streaming platforms. It's not available in the UK. It is available only as a bonus track on the Lavender edition of Midnight's the CD that you can only buy in Target in the USA. Taylor, I am about to start a petition to get Hits Different on Spotify for those of us in the UK because it's just not fair and it's such a good song and it's so gay. It's only available on the Lavender edition of the CD. Lavender. It's so gay. Of course, you can go like onto YouTube or onto TikTok and find the song. You can listen to it pretty easily. But it's just annoying that it's not on Spotify. And I think the reason that she hasn't made this song so public is because even straight people will listen to that song and be like, that is not straight. And I'm sure that's why. And she's just left it on the Lavender edition as like a little Easter egg, a little sneak peek. Where is it? Here it is. If you haven't already, I do urge you to go and listen to that song. So this, again, is quite a hard song to analyse without being, like, Taylor specific, but I'm gonna do my best of it. So I washed my hands of us at the club, you made a mess of me, I pictured you with other girls in love. Oh, again, wait. Again, any mention of girls, women, she, her, all over it. Then threw up on the street, like waiting for a bus that never shows. You just start walking on. They say that if it's right, you know, each bar plays our song. Nothing has ever felt so wrong. So this is a relationship where she's struggling with it. It feels wrong to be in this relationship. It doesn't work really, but she's like sick at the thought of other girls being in love with this person. Oh my love is a lie, shit my friends say to get me by. It hits different this time. There is something about being in a sapphic relationship, especially maybe your first sapphic relationship or like the one, like everyone has like that one relationship where it just feels so different to anything you've ever experienced before. I remember like when I had my first crush on a girl after having crushes on boys for a really long time, and it like really made me like put into perspective. Oh my god, I can never say perspective. Put into perspective that I didn't actually have crushes on these boys at all. It just hit so different. Like the feelings were unlike anything I'd ever felt before. And could that be what Taylor's referring to here? Catastrophic blues. Catastrophic blues. The ending of your first female on female situationship, not even a relationship, like a situationship and anything, it hits so hard. It is so rough. Moving on was always easy for me to do. It hits different because it's you. So whatever this relationship is, Taylor cannot move on from it. And I think maybe that is echoed in Question. Taylor's really struggling to move on from this failed relationship. This is a love that's different from anything else she's ever experienced. Like, it's not like all the other relationships. It's something on a whole other level. I used to switch out these Kens are just ghost, rip the band-aid off and skip town like an arsehole outlaw. I used to switch out these Kens. So Ken's obviously Ken and Barbie. She sees all these men as like playthings. They're just dolls for her to play with and then discard. She's just not like referring to all these men as men. She's referring to them as Kens, as dolls, as toys. All those other relationships with the Kens haven't been anything serious. This is the serious relationship. She'd just ghost them and move on, rip the band-aid off and skip town like an arsehole outlaw. So like she knows she was being the arsehole, but like she didn't really care. She didn't see them as like real relationships. And freedom felt like summer then on the coast. I'm just gonna say, Big Sur, you'll know if you know. Now the sun burns my heart and the sand hurts my feelings. So she had a wonderful experience, let's say, on the coast somewhere, on a beach, and now the thought of sun and sand just upsets her. And I never don't cry at the bar. Yeah, my sadness is contagious. I slur your name till someone puts me in a car. I stopped receiving invitations. So she's devastated about the breakup of this relationship. She gets drunk. It's all she can talk about. People are sick of it, but she can't stop. Just gonna circle car. I find the artifacts, cried over a hat, cursed the space that I needed. I trace the evidence, make it make some sense, why the wound is still bleeding. You were the one I still loved, don't need another metaphor, it's simple enough. So like Taylor's whole music is like metaphors about love and about all these big feelings. This love was so huge and so important to her that it like supersedes the needs for metaphor. It was this amazing love, and that is that. A wrinkle in time like the crease by your eyes. This is why they shouldn't kill off the main guy. So she's talking about killing off the main guy, killing off men. This is why you shouldn't end your relationships with men, maybe, because then you discover this incredible relationship and nothing's ever going to be the same again. Like, relationships with women don't feel the same as they do with men. Don't kill off the main guy, because then you're stuck like this. Dreams of your hair and your stare and sense of belief in the good in the world you once believed in me. Dreams of your hair, I just don't feel like many men have hair that's worthy of dreaming of. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like Harry Styles, maybe. If somebody made the argument that this song is about Harry Styles, I could believe it. He's got very good hair. I do believe that Taylor and Harry were a PR relationship. I do not believe that was a real relationship. So I don't think this song is about Harry Styles. I think it's about a woman with very nice hair. Dreams of your hair and your stare and your sense of belief in the good in the world you once believed in me. And I felt you and I held you for a while. Bet I could still melt your world. Argumentative, antithetical dream girl. When I first heard that line, my jaw dropped. This is like one of the most blatantly gay things that Taylor has ever said. Bet I could still melt your world. Argumentative, antithetical dream girl. She is talking to somebody. I bet I could still melt your world. Argumentative, antithetical dream girl. She is talking to the dream girl in this sentence. A lot of straight people have argued with this, and you know it's really gay when straight people then have to immediately come in and come up with excuses as to how it's not gay. I've seen a lot of straight people being like, oh no, she's saying I'm the argumentative, antithetical dream girl. But you're adding words that aren't there. Like, nothing Taylor does is accidental. She will have heard this song, she would have known how that sounds. But I could still melt your world, argumentative, antithetical dream girl. She is talking to the dream girl, and there is nothing anyone can say that's going to convince me otherwise. I believe that with my whole heart and soul. This line also for me harks back to Gold Rush on Evermore. Gold Rush is Evermore, isn't it? Yeah. In which she is talking or singing about somebody and saying this person is very contrarian, and I'm very sure it's about the same person. So contrarian, argumentative, antithetical, they all mean the same thing. She's talking about the same person in both Gold Rush and in this song, and I'm pretty sure in Gold Rush as well she also references hair. Also in Gold Rush as well, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I need to get up the lyrics here, but I'm very, very sure that she also references the coast in Gold Rush. So I'm pretty sure that Hits Different is like a sister song to Gold Rush, which is amazing because I love Gold Rush. Okay, yes, I am correct on all fronts with Gold Rush. So the second verse is that, first verse, this verse. What must it be like to grow up that beautiful, with your hair falling into place like dominoes? I see me padding across your wooden floors, which kind of harks back to Cornelia Street and Maroon, I suppose, with my Eagles t-shirt hanging from the door. At dinner parties, I call you out on your contrarian shit, and the coastal town we wandered round had never seen a love as pure as it. There's so many links there. So many links. I'm really sure they're meant to be like sister songs. Back to Hits Different. I heard your key turning the door down the hallway. Is that your key in the door? Is it okay? Is it you? Or have they come to take me away, to take me away? She's worried that she's getting in trouble because of this relationship, or maybe it's like starting her descent into madness. Somebody's coming to take her away from this relationship. Oh my, love is a lie. Shit my friends say to get me by. I think I forgot to mention this before, but love is a lie is very much something people think about queer relationships. Queer people are denied their feelings all the time, saying like, you don't feel these things for each other, it's not possible, like queer love isn't a thing, you're just mentally ill. Your love is a lie, and that's something you hear all the time as a queer person. Like, people just love to deny that queer love is possible at all. Like, people really, really don't want to believe that it's possible for two queer people to love each other. And let me tell you, it's very possible. This song is just so loud, isn't it? It's so loud. I feel like I've literally been filming this video all day by this point, but I've got one more song to talk about that I really want to get around to today, and that is Glitch, one of the songs on the 3am version of Midnights. And again, this just, it's really loud to me. So Glitch starts with, we were supposed to be just friends. So this is a relationship. Oh God, wait a sec. So this is a relationship where they were supposed to be just friends to start with. Maybe Taylor was set up with somebody as part of like a PR friendship and it got deeper. Maybe she met somebody organically and it was supposed to be just friends, and then she soon realised that she had feelings for this person. You don't live in my part of town, but maybe I'll see you out some weekend, depending on what kind of mood and situationship I'm in and what's in my system. So what's in my system says to me like there's some sort of like fluidity there, like it depends what kind of mood I'm in when I see you as to like how we go about this. It depends on what's in my system. I think there's been a glitch. 5 seconds later, I'm fastening myself to you with a stitch. And I'm not even sorry, nights are so starry, blood moonlit, it must be counterfeit, I think there's been a glitch. A glitch is something that's a mistake. A glitch is something that's not supposed to happen. So this relationship, whoever Taylor's talking about, she was not supposed to be in a relationship with this person. She wasn't supposed to fall for this person. It was a glitch in her system. Also, the use of the word counterfeit is kind of similar there. Like, it's fake, it can't be real, it must be counterfeit because this is too weird to be a real thing. 5 seconds later, I'm fastening myself to you with a stitch. That is very lesbian of her. Like 5 seconds into a relationship and you were joined at the hip. Like, sorry, can somebody say you all lesbian right there? Also makes me think of like queer sewing circles. I know that's like a big jump when I hear that. When I hear the word stitch, when I'm thinking about queer culture, that's what I go to. And I'm Not Even Sorry, Nights Are So Starry, Blood Moonlit. That could be like a reference to like astrology. Lesbians love astrology. Again, bit of a tenuous link there, but we're going for it. I Was Supposed to Sweat You Out. So this was something that Taylor thought maybe was like a bit of a phase. Like a lot of people say that queer relationships, oh, it's just a phase, you'll get over it, you'll end up marrying the man that you're supposed to marry, all this stuff. So maybe Taylor was like, oh, I thought I'd sweat you out. Didn't happen. In search of glorious happenings of happenstance on someone else's playground. That line is such a good line. So this to me suggests that maybe somebody else was involved here. Maybe she's in like somebody else's city, she's in somebody else's house, and this is just happenstance, it's just like happening and she's letting it happen. But it's been 2,190 days of our love blackout. I have so much that I want to say about that, but I'm not going to say it. But I do think the 2,190 days, that is 6 years exactly. So 6 years ago to when Taylor released the album and wrote this song, something happened which led to the end of this relationship, which very much suggests to me that it is not about the current relationship that she is in with Joe Alwyn. It's definitely not. This is about a breakdown of relationship. The systems breaking down could be a reference to the relationship breaking down, but also maybe like heterosexuality, like compet, heteronormativity, like what she has always thought to be normal or to be expected of her. Maybe all that is breaking down around her. I mean, the use of the word system suggests something wider than the relationship itself. Like it's a whole system of things that's breaking down, not just this relationship. Brief interruption, a slight malfunction. I'd go back to wanting do to give nothing. This to me, again, is so telling. I'd go back to wanting do to give nothing. If you're assuming this song is about a man that she's in a relationship with, why would she leave a relationship with a man who, from context, you would assume did give her something, did like provide her with a happy life, to go back to wanting do to give nothing? Why would she want that? That to me suggests that this is a relationship that she's coming out of with a woman, or she is seeing this sort of like relationship or situationship with this woman as a brief interruption, a slight malfunction, or like that's what going into it she thought it was going to be. She thought it was going to be just a slight malfunction and then she'd go back to wanting do to give nothing. Like when I first went into analysing this song, I really didn't think I'd be able to get much out of it in terms of like queer analysis. I was so wrong. Like to me, having looked at it properly, even the lyrics, I didn't really hear it, but reading the lyrics, it's very clear to me that this has a lot of queer undertones. A brief interruption, a slight malfunction, that relationship with the woman, she thought it was just going to be a phase, something to get out of her system, and then to go back to wanting do to give nothing. I thought we had no chance, and that's romance. Let's dance. So whoever it is that she's talking about this relationship with, she thought they had no chance, and then it turned out to be something quite romantic. To me, this whole song just screams of that feeling when you first get feelings for somebody of the same sex and you like freak out a little bit and you're like, okay, this is just a phase, I'm gonna be over it. Everyone else tells you it's just a phase, it's just like a glitch in the system, you're gonna get over it, and then you go back to wanting men and it's all fine and like nothing bad's gonna happen. And then as you're in it, you realise really quickly like, oh shit, this is something real. I fastened myself to you with a stitch 5 seconds into this relationship. Now we're stuck together, it's romantic. I'm not even sorry, nights are so starry. So she's suddenly seeing like the full night sky, like the full corners of the universe. Now she's in this relationship that she thought was just going to be something to get out of her system, but it turns out it's something pretty serious. And I just think that song's incredibly queer. Incredibly queer. There you go. That is my second part of my queer analysis of Taylor Swift's Midnights. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you don't believe Taylor's queer, then this doesn't matter to you. I'm not saying Taylor's queer, I'm saying I'm a queer person, and here is how I see her music, and that is the beautiful thing about art. As soon as art goes out in the world, it's up to the interpretations of everyone who views it or listens to it or sees it. Views and sees it are the same thing. You get what I'm trying to say. I've got to go edit this now, so wish me luck. It's going to take me a while. Thank you so much for watching. Part 3 will be incoming probably next month, and I'll see you then. Bye guys.